Flex, the live is 1 in the 6. With the runner boy, you nigga, no question. You would run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm an 88 pack nigga. I'm an 88 pack nigga. I mean, day walker, drink blood, fangs out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe, nigga. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Lightweight. Lightweight, baby. Drew Titan, Bronson on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC, man. We gotta let's just get to it, man. Let me do this roll call real quick. My brother Mark Wunderlich, Joseph Wiggins, D-Man. What's going on? Queen, how you doing? DP Rocker, Mr. Shelton, Rod Neal, Black Alpha, Big Brother in Life, Mike Ryan, 7 Reasons, Shogun, Big Joe Townsend, Cop Killer, LeVar Cooper, Anthony King's Country, King's County was good. Maine Biker, no doubt. Teach, Nostradamus Ellaby, Mo Boxing, Healer, Black Gun Owners Magazine, Village Brother, Todd Swindle, LeVar Cooper. Y'all must have forgot Angel Diaz, Macados Mac of the South. Shit jumped on me. Sam Mack, what's going on? Cedric Taylor, Cassandra, my brother Theo Coop in the building, the Do Better podcast. I know y'all subscribe to my brother, man. Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. Salute, Theo. Salute, Theo. Smash the like button, y'all. I'm sorry, I'm multitasking. Benjamin, what's going on? That's the fan right there. Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to the Do Better podcast. Y'all make sure y'all go ahead and do that. Do that. Let me do something real quick. I got you, Marco. Give me a second. Main event Mark. Rick Blackwell. E.G. McCory. Hold up. Somebody asked me a question. And sorry, y'all. Hold on. Live right now. I'm sorry, man. There's been a lot going on. You know, I just got to multitask. I'm sorry, y'all. And of course, when you're multitasking, nothing moves fast enough when you need to. Marco, I sent that to you just now. My brother Hardbody J Timo in that super chat, much love. He says, all facts, Errol got to go back to what worked. That garbage training, that other coach had Errol doing was some garbage. And we're going to get to it, y'all. Now you see, I've been talking to Blue Bay all weekend. All right? And this is another personal trainer right here, J Timo. So you ain't got to take my word for it. Just look at the goddamn results. Boss Red, salute. Abadorti. Phenomenal Mexican, salute. Smash the like button, y'all. I rock, my brother. Salute, man. How you feel? Powerhouse Watson. All right, so now, no doubt, Powerhouse, you here. That's all that matters. Smash the like button. All right, so now, here's what's going on, man. The fight done came and gone. It was a classic. Salute the Bud. I'm not fin to discredit that man for nothing. We're not going to do that here. All right. I'm not on that type of conversation right now. I'm not. There's a lot of Listen, y'all. Listen. I know Steve L. the Max, salute. I know I was in the building. There was a lot of things being said out the building. I don't want to talk about that right now. That's a conversation for another time. Eric Jordan, salute. I'll just say that there was a lot of people confused. But that's another conversation. And on my end, it's not an excuse. It's just, to me, it's just a conversation. And I'm just asking what y'all think. Mahari Nation Sports Podcast, salute. You understand? And that's not what I'm talking about here. We're talking about something totally different. My brother J. Timo was like, that dude would be on his phone while training Errol. Blu-ray would work out with all. Thank you, man. Thank you. Nobody picked that up. I saw that immediately. Man. Son of a bro, listen, man. Coach Amber, salute. I know. And because Errol looked all funny walking in, you know what? I don't want to talk about that. I want to, because you know what? That's a whole. If you want, we can ask questions tomorrow. We can ask those questions tomorrow, like, you know, what was really good. If y'all want to do that, we can ask those questions. I'm not pointing no fingers. I'm not flinging assumptions. I asked questions from people that were behind the scenes, and that's as far as it went. I'm not suspecting foul play or nothing. I'm not putting that coat on Bomac or Bud or nothing. Bud went in there and whooped Errol's ass. That's it. That's what happened. Errol's not making excuses. Put it out on Twitter and everything else. That's what happened. Omar, salute. That's what happened. So what I want to do is no doubt, Hila, I know. I just want to talk about what I feel the first step that needs to happen. Fair enough? That's what I want to talk about here. The other stuff, eventually we're going to end up speaking about it, but I don't want to put no coats on people. I want to give Bud his due. That's it. I was there. I was amazed. And bro, I just don't want to do that. All right, look. It is a conversation, but let's not do it here on this live. Can we just agree to that? Let's not do it here. Wow, Neil, okay. All right, hard body. Xavier, what up? David Hyde, what up? Rob Neal, salute. He says, could it be that Errol didn't want to work hard like Blu-ray would have required? Holy cow, brother. You saying some shit, bro. You saying some shit, man. Let me tell you something, man. Think about this. This is the part of the movie where the main character goes through something and it makes him better. I'm gonna bring y'all back to something. All right? Hold on, let me check this DM from JT Mo real quick. Oh my God, Jay, that's crazy, dogs. And see right there, that's the fundamental difference between, oh, man, Jay, well, you know, man, you would know better than me, brother. You would know better than me. But y'all saw what he said, right? Y'all saw what he said, bro. Ace Dad, salute. It's never a good look. Let's see, when you go to these, let me turn my camera on, man. Look, y'all. When you go to these gyms and they got like free training, and you know, usually it's the Isaiah Felix, what up? Usually it's the young kids that are personal trainers, and they're training the elderly women, and they're working out on the machines, and they're on the phone. You can do that with them, because they don't know any better. But when you're training a professional athlete, That athlete needs to know that you are 110% focused on them and their well-being. And I saw that picture, Jay, but I didn't say anything because I don't think people would have understood it. So I didn't make a big stink about it. You know, that's the first thing I saw. And I said that when I saw that. I said, why is that brother on his phone? You know what that's like? Now follow me. And if I miss you in the chat, salute. Big Texas, Brandon Shamar, Shade Girl, salute. If I miss you, just know I love you. I need you to understand something. That is just as disrespectful. Fellas, this ever happened to you? Because this happened to me growing up a bunch of times. Y'all ever been talking to a girl and you trying to shoot your shot and she looking everywhere but in your face? Yeah, and then she look at her watch. You know how you talking to somebody and they looking at their watch? That is fucking disrespectful. That is disrespectful. What the? Where you busy, man? Where you going? That's unacceptable. Look. I saw it and I didn't say anything because there's a lot of things that I see and I'm like, you know what? Let me not make a big deal about this because magically when I say something, all of a sudden, oh, yo, Drew, you doing it? Yo, no, but I know what I saw. I didn't say anything. But if you have a personal trainer, and while you doing what the trainer tells you to do, you turn around and he on his fucking phone, that's unacceptable. That is unacceptable. Now, I didn't say anything. Jay said it. And I agree. I know what I saw, but I didn't say anything. So if I noticed it, I know Blue noticed it. I know it. Me and Blue been talking, bro. Let me read this super chat. And I'm going to tell you my point of view. DJ Zion Love, salute. Queen in the building. Salute, big sis. She said, first step to redemption, get rid of the riffraff in the camp. AJ, Ryan. Second, get rid of the dude they replaced Blu-ray with and put Blu-ray back in. Thank you. Now, let me say this. Do you remember? Bert, what up? RSV, salute. No, RSV, there's a picture of Errol training, and he got a lot of weight on the bar. His personal trainer was standing there, and he was on his cell phone while Errol's putting in work. You know what I'm saying? That's unacceptable. Well, real trainers, they actually do the workouts with their clients. That's a form of motivation. Now, few things going on here. Matter of fact, you know what I'm gonna do? Few things going on here. Remember when we look back, all right, I spoke to Derrick James and at the presser in New York. And I got his phone number and I didn't hit him up yet. You know, I want to let the dust settle. And, you know, let him know, you know, it's still Team Man down over here. You know, one of the things he said is, because of course I wanted to get him on the show. One of the things he said was that he is not going to have time. And I know exactly why he wasn't going to have time, because look at who the fuck he's training. Now, let me ask y'all a question. One of the things that I had a problem, well, I ain't gonna say I had a problem with, one of the things I was curious about was, would he have time to focus on Errol and AJ and Ryan and Frank Martin? Would he have, how's he gonna divide that time? And that was a problem for me, because I was trying to figure it out. And I said, "You look, I'm not the pro here. They are. So if he can do it, he can do it." But guess what, y'all? Guess what? Eddie Reynoso, didn't he have like a super camp like just last year? Canelo, Garcia, the tea drinker, right? Who am I missing? Andy Ruiz. And nobody like thought like, yo, how's he dividing up time and how's he sharing his time to give his attention to all these fighters? And what was the result? He didn't. He couldn't. Ryan left. Ruiz left. What you call it was there for a second and he left. The Cuban Flash. Help me out, Marco.
Frank Sanchez?
Frank Sanchez. He left. And the camp just fell apart. Y'all remember that? So now look at what Derrick James is dealing with. He got some good guys over there, and he's juggling. Because right after this Errol shit, now he got to go deal with this AJ shit. And that's not a 100% win for AJ either. He could lose to Dillian White. So it's like, whoa, he's bursting at the seams right now. Now let me show y'all what I'm talking about. This shit here is disrespectful. It got J-Timo typing in caps. This is unacceptable. Look at this, y'all. That's what we talking about. That is a no-no. That's a lot of weight Errol got up there. Why is his brother on his phone, man? I'm just curious. Was it an emergency? What is that? That's a no-no, man. Listen, fellas, that's you talking to a shorty and she's looking at her phone, disinterested in you. She's worried about how many likes she got on her lady's selfie. That is disrespectful. So what I want to talk about today, I don't want to talk about the other stuff. That's for another conversation. I'm saying, you know, maybe Avery, what up? Maybe BF will touch on that today. I don't know what he's doing, but I want to talk about getting the band back together. Eric Sermon and Paris Smith were dope as single artists, but they were better than me as EPMD. Y'all understand? Does that make sense? That's as simple as I could put it. Eric and Parrish making dollars, that was the shit. You understand? How would y'all feel if DOS Effects broke up? Well, they did break up, but did they put out single projects? It just wouldn't have been the same. You understand? To the brothers out in the West Coast, if you're my age, when NWA broke up, didn't it feel kind of strange? When they broke up and started beefing? Not to say that Errol and Blu-ray's beefing, but you get my point. They just broke up and no one knew why. And people assume, when people break up, they assume the worst. There was no breakup. He just chose to go a different route. Now, here's what I'm saying. I don't know why he went in the other direction. I've never spoken to Errol a day in my life. I don't know. Here's what we do know. When he was with Blu-ray, he stopped everybody. He stopped everybody. He got stronger as the fight went on. And only Errol will know. I know when he got away from Blu-ray, people were breathing. People were making it to round 12. Now, I'm also going to point this out. There's already things in the air. Now, I don't know Errol. I never hung out with him. But there's always this thing. They're saying that he don't really live a fighter's lifestyle. I can't deny or confirm what he does. I know he flipped that fucking card on, almost killed himself and knocked his teeth out. I know that. So it makes sense. Whether you're a hater or not, it makes sense that you would assume that. Videos of him appearing to be drunk. People that's been around him to say he like to throw it back. You understand? What we can say is that Bud lives a clean lifestyle. He ain't got no bad habits. And I'm talking about drinking, no recreational drugs, none of that shit. And it has people thinking all of that shit may have caught up to him Saturday. I can't deny or confirm I'm not a doctor. I saw the video of the alleged doctor. I don't know who that fellow is. I'm not going to discredit him. I don't know. All I could say is He flipped the card, came back and fought Danny Garcia. There was no warm-up. Then he fought Ugas and bust his eye up. So I don't know if this is long-term damage. I don't know. Maybe, who knows? Maybe he had a sparring partner that bust his ass. I don't know. But what I'm here to share is, if he's going to continue with his career, in my opinion, what he needs to do is go back to the basics. Y'all remember the Rocky movies? Do you know why Rocky 3 was pivotal? Let me explain why. Let me read the super chat, and then I'm going to go to you, Marco. Rob Neal in that super chat salute. He says, I don't want Derek James to be like Buddy McGirt. I feel you, brother. I feel you, brother. I feel you. Now, let me say this. Wait. Listen. And if I missed you in the chat, man, salute, man. I love you guys, man. Salute. Texas T. Smooth Shot. Salute, salute. Now, listen. What made Rocky 3 special was that he found out a lot about himself. And Mickey said, those fights were setups. You ain't got it no more. Because Mickey knew him I see you, Barry, and I understand, but Blu-ray has a relationship with Errol, so he would know better than me. You know what I'm saying? It's tough. Mickey was getting Rocky setups because he already had the audience, so he was gonna make the money, but Mickey knew to keep Rocky out of harm's way because he lost the eye of the tiger. He lost it because he was in silk sheets. What did Marvin Hagler say? It's harder to get out of bed when you lay in the silk sheets. And he says, man, I could take this guy, Clubber. I could take him. He's like everybody else. Mickey said, I'm not training you to fight this guy. He talked him into it, and what happened? He got his ass kicked. And then when he was down and out and he was ready to get out of there, his friend Apollo comes back and changes up his whole style. But the first thing he did was he took him to the hood. Remember that scene? Marco, remember that scene when he brought him into the gym? He said, you see the look that they had? He said, when I fought you, you had that look. You lost it.
I remember that.
There was so many gems in that film. Rocky 3 is actually a great film. The writing, never mind the boxing choreography, the right, because Stallone took you through the mentality of a fighter. Down and out. Mickey died. He lost. You understand? He had to lie to Mickey on his deathbed. He lied and said, we won. And Mickey died. So he had to revamp how he thought, how he fought, and he got himself back. So sometimes a loss could do a fighter so well. When Deontay lost, and we know the cheating and all that shit, but he learned from that. He learned not only to watch the business, but watch people around him. You understand? Maybe if Errol continues, this is what he needed. Maybe he went, because he's already not making excuses, but maybe he's making his mind up like, you know what? I got to get back to what got me here. Because what we can all agree, we know Bud is nice, but no one saw that. I did not see him washing Errol like that. Errol looked slow. He looked high when he walked into the building. And he did not win one motherfucking round. I didn't even give him round. I didn't give him round one, man.
I gave it to him.
I just didn't. It was beyond Bud's night. I don't even think Bud. Bud was probably like, yo, I didn't know it was gonna be this easy. Bud was prepared for war. His punches was flat. I'm talking about Errol now. Punches was flat. He was not strong. This was not the Errol Spence that we was used to seeing. And in my mind, I'm like, something wasn't right. Now I don't want to say foul play. What I want to say is, I don't think that he was prepared, and it showed. And the first thing, in my opinion, that I'm going to campaign, get back with Blu-ray. That's the first thing you do. This is business now. I know that's your man, but whatever you paid that brother, look, man, look. And salute to Demon Kennedy in the building. He said, I don't trust PBC, Spence, and Wilder. Think about, bro, you ain't lying. I don't trust nobody. You ain't lying, Demon. You are not lying. You are not lying, and salute to you. But I don't know what he paid this dude. Whatever you paid this dude, you need to pay your friend, Blu-ray, who got you right, pay him triple. Because I guarantee you, Blu-ray ain't on no goddamn phone. And Blu-ray had you on a knockout streak. Felix, what up? Whatever you paid this dude, pay your friend triple. Because this is business. And if you're not going to change anything, go on and take the rematch. But once again, you're not going to be the favorite. If you're not going to change anything, you're going to get the same fucking results. That's going to make you insane. Doing the same thing over and expecting different results. I want to say you're better than that, Errol. You didn't show it over the weekend. You got shut out. So in my opinion, and this man down over here, I'm not shitting on him. This is out of love. Because he got his ass whipped so bad. You got neurologists talking about he got brain damage, and Stephen A. Snitch talking about retire. No. You got to show us, man. And the first thing you got to do is make changes. Don Shotter in that super chat. He says, did my first super chat come through? Salute. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Salute to you, good brother. Thank you. Marco, your thoughts, good brother.
On the fight?
Anything you want to touch, bro?
Well, so I talked to Shane Mosley yesterday, right? Now, I know some people shit on Shane Mosley because he said they sparred and they didn't, but Shane Mosley is still a Hall of Famer and he knows his shit, right?
Yeah.
And Shane goes, Errol was weight trained. Errol was very bad. He goes, I felt the same way, all those symptoms, all the shit that you saw. He's like, that's what weight training does. He goes, when I was fighting at 135, he's like, I was so much better than the guy, so I was able to win, but I felt just like that almost every fight. So Errol looked worse than we've ever seen him, right? We've never seen him look like this out of 28 fights. Mm-hmm. Never been down, nothing. He did look high in his eyes before. He looked, he didn't look good. But I think that I'm not taking anything away from Bud because Bud was brilliant, genius in what he did. And let's not forget, Bud had to make the same weight Errol did. You know what I mean? And I didn't think, when I saw them in the weigh-ins and when I saw them more, besides that, they looked around the same size. Errol's maybe an inch taller, but it was nothing crazy. So, but here's what I think. I think that Errol was weight trained a little bit, which contributed to the ass whooping, but I'm not so sure it would have been that much different if he wasn't.
I agree.
So
I agree.
If they fight again, and honestly, I don't really want to see that again, but if they do, has to be 54. Mm-hmm. And, because Shane was saying, and people, I've heard this, losing that weight, doing all that, not being active for as long as Errol was not active, and coming back, and all the shit that he went through, and losing all that weight, and it'll fuck you up. And there was one thing we could all agree on: this was not the Spence we've seen. So there's a difference between somebody getting an ass whooping, and there's a difference between somebody getting an ass whooping, but also just not looking like themselves, even from before they stepped in the ring. And Spence didn't look like himself fully. Again, let me be clear. I'm not saying that would have made a difference. I think Bud probably still would have dominated, but maybe not like that. Maybe not like that. Yeah.
I got you. We can all agree in the chat. And again, I see you in the chat. I'm not taking nothing away from Bud. And to the people that don't know, for the ones that are trying to make this an LDBC thing, I don't get it because the LDBC was split down the middle. I'm telling y'all straight up and down. Stormy picked Bud. Stormy told me Bud was going to whoop Errol's ass 3 years ago. 3 years ago. Scrapbook Boxing picked Bud. And the late, great Kurt Sugar
picked Bud.
And I'm going to tell y'all something else. Oh, yeah, y'all reading that, right? Errol didn't spar for 6 weeks. Now, to me, if you don't spar in training camp for 6 weeks, that tells me injury. Am I lying, Marco?
It says something.
It says something. Now, I don't know what happened. But to me, 6 weeks, something happened. Now, let me say this, man. All the writing was on the walls. You know who the ref was, Marco?
I never heard of him.
Remember his name? You know his name?
I don't remember.
Harvey Doc?
Yeah, there you go.
Harvey Doc. You know what I didn't know? Now, Chad, I'm going to share this with you because Stormy mentioned it. And I didn't know this. This is gonna be huge, y'all. And this is how I know it was Bud's night. Let me read the super chat. You're not gonna believe this. This is insane. Main biker in that super chat, he says, I think I recall EJ saying after training with Blu-ray, he would be too tired and worn out to do boxing training afterwards. Well, working out becomes easier when you're consistent with it. And when he was with Blu-ray, he had all knockouts. And the moment he got away from Blu-ray, he starts going 12. I mean, go figure. He can't be scared of hard work. So I don't know what's going on. But let me say this. And if I missed you in the chat, man, salute me. I love y'all. Let me say this, y'all. Y'all not gonna believe this. Scrapbook told Stormy B-Man. He said, you didn't know that Harvey Doc was great friends with Kurt Sugar? Wait a minute. Y'all ain't hear me.
What?
He said you didn't know that Harvey Doc was good friends. Where the fuck? Oh, oops, my bad. My bad. Let it sink in, y'all. I gotta turn up my my soundboard.
What?
Harvey Doc was good friends with Kurt Sugar. They spoke every day. He was the referee for this main event. Think about the referees they could have got for Vegas. Jack Reese, Tony Weeks. What's his other motherfucking name?
Bayless.
Kenny Bayless. They got Harvey Doc. Tay, salute Tay. He knew that. L Dub, what up? What up? Bro. It's like everything was in alignment for that. And Kurt, the three wise men, y'all, Kurt, Stormy, and Scrapbook all picked Bud. This is like 3 years ago, y'all. So I really wish Kurt was alive to have seen that, because that was his friend refereeing the main event, a historical event.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing here is I'm not taking credit away from Bud, and please don't do that. What I'm dealing with here is what Errol needs to do. He didn't win one fucking round. If you want to give him the first round, that's great. But 5 through 9, 2 through 9, he got nothing.
Yeah.
But an ass whooping. I want to address how does he fix that. I want to address how do you fix that shit. Bud went in there and did what he had to do. He was perfect. It's in the books. It happened. Yeah. You got to put Bud up there with the Sugar Ray Leonards and the Tommy Hearns, whom I met not Ray Leonard. I met Tommy over the weekend. But you got to mention Bud in those names right now. You got to do it. You got to do it.
I was leaning towards Bud at first, right? And then I see the size difference, the apparent size difference, and I hear about it, and then I'm like, maybe Spence should be favored because he's a pressure fighter, and when you have a size advantage and you're a pressure fighter and a strength advantage. But then when I saw them at the weigh-in, and Zab Judah told me this, Zab Judah goes, I don't pick till the weigh-in, right? I saw them at the weigh-in, and Bud looked thicker to me. He looked like just a bigger dude. Not taller, but just his frame. And when you take that with his skill set, I lean towards Bud. But I never in a million years would have thought it would be that dominant. I don't think most people did. That dominant? Do you know anybody who predicted it to be that dominant?
You know what? You know when I knew this shit was a wrap? When they went in clinch and Bud shoved him and Errol flew back like 5 feet.
I've heard that.
I said,
before.
Oh my God.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, he shoved him, put his elbow right in and shoved his ass. And I said, oh shit.
Well, what I saw was, okay, so even if Errol was weight trained, he still failed to make any adjustments. Now, Shane Mosley was telling me, and I've been in there too myself, and I get it. When you're really tired, sometimes you can't do shit. But he said, I didn't understand why Errol didn't make any adjustments. I mean, it was a simple match. If you want to break it down to Lehman's terms, Spence would barrel forward, Bud would pick off, and counter.
Counter him.
Simple.
And he landed every counter.
So, but why did Errol continue barreling forward? Couldn't he have make him come to him?
Was you able to hear the corner work? Because
No.
I was there live. I want to hear what Derek James was saying. And the reason why I got T. Scott comment up here is to help y'all think. Bud is you got people saying Bud is a GOAT. It's up to Errol to change people's mind at this point.
Right. I mean,
So his fan base could say shit like this. Listen, he didn't win 9 rounds in which he got stopped. He only won 1. I didn't even give him the first round. I was split in the first round.
Well, another thing too, if you remember, after the was it the first round that he got dropped or the second?
Second. Which was ridiculous.
At the end of the second round, he gets dropped, which looked slightly like a flash knockdown, but he hit him with that straight right jab. Anyway, the point is, starting the third round, I don't know if you remember this, Errol came out and hit him with some shit. Hard. But what struck me about it was Bud didn't even flinch.
He ate it.
Did nothing. That's when I knew.
You know when Blu-ray told me?
Mm.
He said he's not strong for this fight.
Oh.
He said he wasn't strong for this fight. He saw it. There was things that Blue saw at the weigh-in that nobody else would know. He would know. And everything he said, that shit came true. Tay said, I mean, when you haven't fought a southpaw in 7 years, 15-month layoff, and don't spar for 6 weeks, what do you think will happen? Y'all see this? This is 100% facts right here. There was a lot of shit wrong, y'all.
Xavier said.
And now here's this. Now here's the thing. What Errol chose to do or not to do or could not do, whatever it was, Bud did what he had to do. That ain't got, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the campaign is the first thing he need to do is get back that eye of the tiger. Whatever made you successful, get back to it. And the first thing you do is go get Blu-ray's ass. Go get him. That's the first. Get your strength and conditioning down because I didn't like that shit. The first knockdown, it was a flash, but did he hit him with a jab?
It was but that's the thing. See, I talked about this on my channel. I don't know if you saw it, but what made Terrence win this fight was his power jab. He's a natural right-hander.
He couldn't miss.
But he was coming in. See, he was doing something real fundamental. Instead of coming with a straight punch and a hook, he was coming with 2 straight shots. And if you look numerous times when that jab lands, Errol's up here waiting for a hook to come, but it's coming right down the pipe. And that happened so many times. And why not just adjust? There's this whole thing that Manuel Stewart said, just do this. You could put your hand here, and then you could do this if you have to. Don't leave. Just keep it in front. Stop the straight. There's so many little adjustments you could have made, and he didn't make any of them. And I'm curious why.
I've never seen Errol look like that in my life.
No, he looked bad. Really bad.
There was no IQ. There was no adjustments. I mean, I need y'all to go watch the Kell Brook fight. Errol had to adjust in that fight, but he did it. He had to he chose to outbox Mikey Garcia, who's a damn good boxer himself. And that was something that they said he couldn't do, which is why I was pretty confident that whatever Bud did, he'd be able to adjust and nail him.
Yeah.
If he was not himself, whether it be physically or mentally, that's on him. You can't, I'm not going to blame Bud for Errol not being prepared. Does that make sense? So what I'm talking about again, he has to make changes. Number 1, go get Blu-ray. So you ain't got to worry about strength and conditioning. That's number 1. Go into this fight. If he really wants to fight in December, if you go into this fight, I don't want to hear anything. Got your strength and conditioning down. That's number 1. Number 2, I want to listen to what was said in between rounds by Derek James. Because if he was telling him what to do and Errol couldn't execute, that's something else. He couldn't execute because, I don't know, he couldn't adjust to a southpaw, the 15-month layoff, or I heard 6 weeks not sparring. I want to know what happened.
I heard Derek say, one thing I did catch was don't stand in front of him, step around him. I heard him say that a few times.
Errol couldn't even move. Step around him, he kept eating jabs. I'm going this way, jab. Going that way, jab. Going backwards, jab. Forwards, jab, jab. Uppercut.
Do you know what he did at one point? And I want people to rewatch this. One of the shots that I think led to the stoppage at the end. Bud's in front of him. Bud, kind of keeps his hands like this. And then at one point, he does this. Now, those of you who fought before, that sometimes means, oh shit, I could throw shots now because the guy's in a guarded position. And Spence throws a shot. Bud catches it and with the same hand comes over and clips him hard.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
So he was putting in so many little traps.
I'm going to tell you something else. And I know a lot of people may not agree, but this is real. I think Bud carried him from round 6.
He didn't put his foot on the gas as much as he could have. You're right.
I think he carried him until round 9. I think he carried him because this shit was bad, man. It got to the point wherever he caught him clean, Errol was wobbling and falling all over the goddamn floor. I was like, God damn, what the hell? I was sitting up there like, yo, and I have the fight from my seat, and I got it. And I'm like, this shit gotta stop.
Yeah.
This shit gotta stop because Errol gonna get hurt, man.
I see people saying catch and shoot. It was a catch and shoot, but that's not what I'm talking about. It was the bait and the trap to have him throw the punch to begin with and then administer the catch and shoot. It was very smart. He was baiting them in all different ways and setting so many traps, and a simple jab because he knew that the jab's going to land between somebody who high guards and doesn't move his head.
This right here was, I'm not even going to say glorified. This was a bad sparring session. It's like if you brought a guy like Errol in off the street to spar with Bud, it wouldn't have helped him because the Errol he thought he was facing was not there that night. Now, I don't know what the F is going on, but again, this show is not to drag Bud because that's impossible. It's not to talk about Bo Mac eating Cheetos. That shit, all that trash talk, that shit is gone. You can't say shit to that camp at all.
Yeah.
In reference to the fight I'm talking about. I'm not even talking about the business where we didn't like how they were moving. That's done. As soon as the fight got signed, I was done talking about it. I'm done. The fight got signed. I'm good. Now I'm dealing with Errol. If he's choosing to go back in the ring with Bud, what does he need to do to compete? The first thing he needs to do is get Blu-ray back. That's what I'm talking about. Because I didn't like what I saw. And it makes sense that people are wondering what's wrong with his brain. Because he looked like he was fighting underwater. He was slow. He was predictable. He looked like a fucking novice in there. Salute to Rod Neal in that super chat. He said, I told my wife the fight was officially over after round 3. Errol came out aggressive and Bud adjusted. Spence looked defeated right after that. I've never seen Errol look like this. And we need to talk about what he needs to do to get better because if he makes no changes, he's going to go in there and get his ass kicked again. And it's like, what are you going in there for? To do what? I spoke to Joe Joyce. I got some of the conversation on video. I'm not going to upload it because realistically, I forgot my camera was on when I was talking to him. And I'm not a trainer, but I was giving him pointers. Like, I said, look, this guy killed you with a jab. All you got to do is touch him and knock him off balance, make him reset, make him frustrated and throw a right hand. But I'm not no fucking trainer.
Why don't you upload it?
I mean, I didn't have the camera in his face. I have it like right here.
Oh, so you feel like he doesn't know you were recording?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
We took pictures. He's a hell of a guy. We took pictures and everything. But did you see the picture I put up?
I did. You were it gave me you're a tall motherfucker because I know he's tall.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
You said he was like crossing his eyes to make you laugh.
Yeah, he was crossing his eyes and making me laugh. The shit was hilarious, man. I mean, he's a good dude. But I don't want to upload it on YouTube because there was nothing incriminating or anything like that. But it just looked crazy. But I was telling him, just touch him. Forget about hitting him in the head. He got good head movement. Just touch him, make him reset. And then when he gets frustrated, then you launch it. You're strong. Just launch it, just hit him. But you got to do something different. If Joe Joyce doesn't change how he fights Big Zhang, he's going to lose again. That's why no one's picking him to win the rematch.
Oh, I didn't know they even had a rematch set.
Yeah. Unless something's changed, y'all let me know. But he wanted the rematch immediately. And I'm like, shit, did something change? It's not like it's Lennox Lewis. When he lost Hasim Rahman, he said the issues that I had was fixed when I left out the ring that night. He already knew what he had to do. But Lennox Lewis was a different guy. He can adjust, right? Do you see that in Joe Joyce? I don't, but it's not that I don't think he's incapable. So I want to know who he added in the camp, what kind of sparring he has. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So with Errol, I know a lot of people are saying Errol can't beat Bud. I can clearly understand why you're saying that now, and I'm not going to call you wrong. But I want to see the effort from Team Spence, as far as camp, lifestyle, training, sparring, all right? And I want to see a difference. I want to see him put in the effort saying, okay, we changed this, we changed this, we changed this, and now we're going to see what happens. You understand? I'm man down, but I'm having an honest conversation. Errol got washed, y'all. And the first thing he needs to do is get that physical shit together, and you got to get Blu-ray back. You got to get Blu-ray back. Someone sent the super chat. Hold on, let me get to it. This chat's moving. Salute, y'all. Y'all in here heavy, too. Yeah, Tay. See, Tay said catch and shoot. Yeah. Don shot a salute. He said, is DJ stretched too thin? You meant to say EJ. Is he stretched too thin? No, Derek James. Yeah. Derek James. Ack, what's going on? Smoking on Bud, what up? Like I said earlier, he might be. Oh, Marco, I got his phone number.
Who?
But he told me at the presser, he said I ain't gonna be able to talk until, and he just did like this until, and I knew what he meant. Derek James.
Oh.
He said, yeah, I ain't gonna be able to talk until he just did this, and I said, I know.
No. Oh, he gave you his number?
Yeah. Because Frank Martin. Now he dealt with EJ. Now he got to go out to the UK and deal with this AJ shit. That's not that's a 50-50 fight. You know what I'm saying? And Charlo. And then he got Ryan Garcia. You understand? This is a lot.
Can I say, speaking of Charlo, one of the most gangster things I've ever seen was how Bud, while Spence is being counted, walks over and proceeds to grab his nuts and talk shit to Charlo. That was fucking gangster. And then stop, focus back, and finish what he was doing.
He knew he had EJ. He knew he had EJ from round one.
It was just a gangster, I'm not big on people talking shit, but that was because Charlo's such a big shit talker to begin with. He was coming, you know what I mean? That was gangster to me.
Oh wait, Stormy's in here?
I don't know. I didn't see him.
Y'all saw Stormy? Wait a minute. The chat moving fast. Stormy, if you hear Stormy, I just dropped you a link.
Yeah, I think I think it was almost too one-sided. It almost wasn't enjoyable to watch. You almost felt bad for him. I was with people who aren't really boxing fans, some of them, and they were all like, Jesus. They were just like, this is not fun.
Yo, I'm telling you, when we was leaving the arena, Bud fans were celebrating, but it wasn't trashy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wasn't trashy. But when we was going down the escalator, there was a whole bunch of, from Nebraska. They was like, what the fuck was wrong with Errol tonight? They said that. They was like, yo, we didn't know it was going to be this easy. He was like, what the fuck? There was one dude, he was like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, I was nervous. I was nervous about these championship rounds because Errol turned up, and I'm looking like I'm glad I'm not bugging. But let me get to something that happened out there. It did happen because everybody else, I don't know, Marco, you're just guilty by association because you're here. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. When you get a bunch of niggas in one place, you always got to be concerned about bullets flying over some dumb shit. That didn't happen. Everybody was all peace.
Well, that's what Bud meant. Remember when Bud was like, look, why can't we just support each other and it gets sticky real fast?
And I think Errol and EJ did an excellent job of settling that shit. They settled that shit. Y'all remember when Bud showed up to EJ's fight in Dallas, the Ugas fight, and something popped off in the audience and he told them to chill? Like that. See, Bud and Errol are not enemies, which is why all of these friendships that online got decimated over this shit was just ridiculous. Salute to T. Scott in that super chat. Much love. He said, I'm so disappointed in Spence because Bud prepared for war. Like I supported the fight. I will support the rematch because Crawford but prefer Boots. I get you, bro. I get you 100%, man. I get you 100%. Let me see. Someone else dropped a super chat. I missed it. Damn, this shit moving. Xavier in that super chat, much love, appreciation. He said, fight was over after the first knockdown. I agree. Salute to Thomas Morris in that super chat. He said, too late in the game to change his tendencies. Bud beats him at any weight. I'm not going to disagree with you. Because now Errol got to show us. I'm not going to disagree with you. Errol got to show us. The OG, Mr. Mont in the building. He says, I never got past the first knockdown, Drew. Yes, Bud has power, but I was left totally confused because we've seen EJ hit harder and keep trucking. His punch resistance was non-existent. He was just weak. Bro, I know what I saw, and this is not an excuse, but I was in the building with a bunch of Bud fans, and everybody was confused. Like, what? This? See, when Tommy got hit by Marvin Hagler, we understood why he got hurt. This shit here, I'm confused. So the first thing he has to do, if the punch resistance was gone, that means he didn't do no road work. Now we find out he in spar for 6 weeks. He ain't fight a southpaw in like 7 years. It was all bad. It's like the writing was on the walls, and the only person that saw it was Stormy.
If you
So I'm
notice,
gonna go to Stormy.
Bud
Go
didn't
ahead,
get
Sensei.
at all. What's up, Stormy?
You know what, man? I was laying down resting, and you ruined my rest.
God damn.
Listening to this, it's fucking bullshit, bro. I told you. But you and many others refuse to listen. But I'm going to give you some examples. I'm going to break something down for you in a different way. Everything that's being said now, including the alignment of things, this guy, Errol Spence Jr., had to live up to what was built. Bud Crawford was preparing for what was built. That's two different planes of dealing with reality. If he didn't spar, if something is going on neurologically, if there were no southpaws available, quality, if the teaching is not there, what does that have to do with what Crawford brought on the night? I say this because if everything went the other way, there would be nothing but praise and rejoicing.
That's true.
It's unfortunate that the man had the car accident, but he had that car accident. It's unfortunate that the detached retina situation arose, but that was something that happened on his side. But years ago, when they met up in Oklahoma and they were having that conversation, Earl had on that red hoodie and Bud had on that skull cap. They were having a conversation back and forth, jawing, and it was nice. It was pleasant. That was the first time we've ever seen them come together like that. But even then, there were a couple of guys around them mouthing off and everything. And Earl had said something to one of the guys around Bud. And Bud said, "Don't talk to him, talk to me."
You talking to me now.
And then Earl was still talking. He's like, you still talking to him? Talk to me.
Yeah.
And then finally, when he looked at Bud and started addressing Bud person to person, he said, okay, now you're talking to me.
Yeah.
From that moment, he commanded a respect that nobody picked up on. When they decided that they wanted to make a bet, Bud said, let's bet $1 million.
Mhm.
You're talking about someone who is speaking from a position of confidence and capability. And because so many people built up angst against this young man, nobody saw anything for him. His knockouts weren't good enough. His wins weren't good enough. His resume was often questioned and challenged, but the man had moved successfully through 3 weight divisions. Anyone else, you guys are giving credit for doing this.
Mhm.
Anyone else. Every time something is put out there, it gets ignored, and the consensus is for the more popular guy. I don't think on popularity. I think on the experiences of what have happened throughout the history of the sport, what I've been able to witness and take hold to and put value in. In that same conversation, Bud told him, don't try that going to the body stuff. Don't try that. And people laughed and they mocked. In that second round, Earl was on the canvas. He was dipping down like he does when he goes to the body. Bud was ready to come right over the top.
You go ahead and teach. I'm gonna hang back. See, this is the part that y'all gotta listen to, y'all. Listen.
Body can't do 2 things at once. And for a man who never takes his head off a center line, never takes his head off a center line, and a pristine counterpuncher is anxiously awaiting to pick that apart. Now, people were saying he couldn't get out of the way of what Bud was doing. Bud had the more agile footwork. He was always noted for that. Some people wanted to come and try to run or whatever, but it becomes a difference when you know how to step around someone, draw their fire so that they would throw certain punches. Then you can position yourself to angle and throw the shots that you meaningfully want to get off, because that's ring generalship and that's called ring IQ. Things that you all have never been given this young man credit for. And yes, he was a smaller man, but at the same time, there is a strength within that smaller man that has allowed him to be as successful as he's been the entire time. You forget about the fact that when he was facing Sean Porter, a fight he didn't even want, and he tried to tell Sean, don't let them put you out there against me, because they want to gauge what happened with you and the other guys against me. He didn't want to fight Sean Porter, not because he was afraid of him. He didn't want to fight Sean Porter because he values his friendship. It goes back to when they were teenagers. And the worst part of that was this. He knew that beating up Sean Porter might jeopardize something that he held value, but no one ever spoke of that. No one ever considered that. No one ever looked with any type of insightfulness to that notion. Y'all was just saying, oh, he won't fight Sean. He won't fight Sean. Everything had to be done according to what you all wanted. Even when the man didn't talk very much, y'all was saying top ranked Toby don't talk. That's why he don't draw. He don't do this. He don't do this. This man has been listening to you all from day one. Evander Holyfield had to deal with the same exact mess, even though we didn't have social media back in those times. He was not a true heavyweight. He was nobody until he beat Mike Tyson. Well, guess what? Even after succumbing to Bo twice, even after being beaten by Michael Moore, even after having been knocked down and stopped, he gets in there against you guys' God, Mike Tyson, and beats the crap out of him in one of the best resurrected performances in the history of boxing. Because his fight prior to Mike Tyson, people were clamoring for him to retire because Bobby Ches made him look very bad and made him look old as a heavyweight. But the sentiment of the public is what can drive a man to be the best, that can drive him to put on a performance that people couldn't see coming because you don't respect his ability. And so on the night when he came in there to face Errol, he was ready. Now, maybe Errol was not as ready as he could have been, but was that Bud Crawford's fault? Absolutely not. I saw Crawford break out defensive postures and the way he was placing his hands and using certain angles that he hadn't shown collectively in one fight, but it was a combination of things that he had garnered over his career, and he put it together. He was ready for whatever. And the moment that you talked about when he stood toe-to-toe with Errol early in that fight and he pushed Errol up off of him, he was sending him a message to let him know you in here with a man, not some little scrawny guy or whatever. And the funny thing about that was it was a similar moment in the fight against Sean Porter in the second or third round when Sean tried to push him and he lifted Sean up and shoved him into the ropes. You guys may have forgotten that. Sean never tried it again. In the Sean fight in the 9th round, in between the 9th and the 10th, they told him, hey man, you're gonna have to pick it up. You might be behind on the scorecards. He was like, behind? He's like, yeah, they got him up. He's up? How? He's like, I don't know, but you got to pick it up. He goes out there, and within 20 seconds, Sean Porter is on the freaking canvas. Now, a few more seconds after that, Sean gets up to continue, and he puts some more heated punishing punches on Sean, who goes down again, bangs his hand on the canvas. His dad, Kenny Porter, throws the towel in. Now, I'm going to tell you why Kenny threw the towel in. He could say whatever he wanted. He could say Sean didn't train the way he was supposed to and all of that stuff. And that sounds good for them. But he took the fight, didn't he? And Bud wasn't even trying to kill him in that fight. He never fought him like he was fighting the man he fought this past Saturday night. But when he had heard that he might lose, he made an adjustment.
Yep.
And Kenny saw the adjustment. Kenny saw the fire in that kid. I call him a kid because he's young enough to be my son. And he stopped it because he didn't want to see what y'all saw Saturday night. This is what I was trying to say when I conveyed to you, Drew Titan, behind the scenes about what was coming.
For 3 years.
I said this. The man has different levels. When he stopped that guy, I forget his name right now because I got so much coursing through my mind, to become undisputed at 140. Ndongo, when he stopped him with a body shot, punching in between Ndongo's shots. And people say, oh, Ndongo just laid down. No, when fighters throw punches, they exhale. They shoot their breath out. And if you get hit with a timed shot perfectly in the floating rib area, Marco will tell you he's right here. And you've exhaled while you let that shot go, and that guy drops that left hook up under there like Bud Crawford did, an uppercut to the breadbasket, you go down. It's like you fell on a football and you were tackled on top of the football. All the air goes out of your body, and you need about 20 seconds to recover. And in football, they carry you off the field for a play or two. Then you come on back. These things have happened right in front of your eyes, and people don't want to acknowledge what they're looking at. The man has always been able to punch. He's knocked out now, 11 people at welterweight now? When are people going to give credit for the ability, the capability? You don't have to like the guy. You have to respect the technique. Isn't that a song?
Respect it. Check the technique. Sweat the technique. I'm sorry.
It's the same thing.
Same shit.
So what is it about someone being a melanated fighter and people not liking it? You guys have bias and prejudice within your own community and don't even acknowledge it. Crab in the barrel syndrome that will forever keep us off the cusp of any type of true advancement and success because of the differences in the shades. But then when it comes to other folk, you want to bitch, moan, and groan. But I'm telling you the facts. You may not like it, and I really don't give a damn. But this is what it is. Derek James has now proven to me, and I just did a video about him 3 weeks ago. He's in over his head. I said Sunday night on a live, there was a simple explanation after the first knockdown, something to do to reset. He didn't even offer it up. And when I was asked, what was that, Stormy? I said he could have told Errol to move around. Move around. Start using some distance and range and angles to get yourself together. If you lose a round or two, you lose a round or two. But the thing about it is you have to find rhythm. You have to adjust to what has transpired. And if the man is capable of adjusting to that adjustment, then you have a fight. We didn't get a fight because there was no adjustment. And that can be accredited to James. You saw the same thing when Marcus Brown fought Artur Beterbiev. Think about it. Go back and watch the fight. Go back and listen to my pre-fight breakdown. And I spoke about if James is really a good coach, he'll save Marcus Brown from being destroyed by Artur Beterbiev. And he watched that man submit. He watched it. That really told you all you needed to know about Derek James. And the worst part about it, he got 2 more big fights coming up. And it can happen again. Especially in the fight in September. So stay on point.
Before I go any further, this in-depth analysis that Stormy gave, let me say this. Stormy been telling me for 3 years, and I don't know if you heard or not, Stormy. The three wise men, all three of y'all guys, y'all picked Bud not only to win against Errol. Stormy told me 3 years ago. I said, "What do you think happens if they get in the ring?" But back when I didn't know it was reality, Stormy told me 3 years ago. He said, "Oh, Bud's gonna whoop Errol ass." But the reason why Stormy didn't say it like that in that nature on his channel is because a lot of you guys are like so emotional about certain things, and that's not the type of time. That's not the kind of channel he runs. And
I even told it to Blu-ray's face when he was on your show that night in the Strong House.
Yeah,
I wasn't running from what my mindset was on this, and nor did it change this past weekend going in.
Right.
And if Blu-ray would have been there, I still would have been able to say what I said. And I'll tell you this: Blu-ray may have changed the man's strength and conditioning and all of that, but it don't translate into fighting.
And guess what? Blu-ray understands that. And the purpose of this conversation, my campaign, is the first thing he needs to do is get his strength and conditioning in order, because whatever he was doing isn't working. So when he gets that in order, your strength and conditioning can be great in itself, but strategy, that's what the question is. Can he beat Bud? When your strength and conditioning is up to par, that's one thing, but can he beat Bud? And right now, the general consensus is no. He's going to have to make the world believers now. He's going to have to make everyone a believer. Now, I ride with Errol. But can he beat Bud? He has to show me.
We saw possibly the biggest one-sided mega fight in history. Possibly. You have a couple close ones, but can you think of another? And when I mean mega fight, I mean a fight of this stature that was so one-sided. Can you think of one similar? Maybe Lewis Tyson, but this was worse than Lewis Tyson.
No. And you know what grinds my gears? By the time we got Lewis Tyson, there was so many. Forget that. Let's go to Tyson Holyfield. They said Mike wins that fight if he don't go to prison. I'm like, that's not true. That's not true. Mike gets his ass whipped worse if he don't go to prison. Let me tell you, Evander just simply had that guy's number. Mike Tyson was preserved in prison. He didn't balloon up to 400 pounds, was fighting every day. He was preserved. Evander, while Mike was away, Evander was fighting Riddick Bowe 3 times. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Evander, by the time Mike got out, Evander had a lot of damage on him. And in fact, he had heart problems.
Right.
I remember my friend telling me, "Oh, he's gonna hit Evander in the goddamn chest. He's gonna have a heart attack." I said, "No." I said, "Evander's gonna knock Mike out." Because my friends didn't understand what I understood. I said, "He's gonna knock him out because he doesn't give a shit about the video games and the uppercuts." And no, your man is beatable. And Evander cowboyed up to him and knocked him out, and was gonna do it again. Had Mike biting the ears off and shit.
Yep.
That's the reality of it. And we love Mike, but why?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Evander's more of the accomplished athlete as it pertains to boxing. You understand? Yeah. So this ass whooping right here is the build up to this was so big, and for it to be so one-sided. And I said it, and Stormy said it, you said it, and I'm reiterating it. I don't know if there was an injury in the camp, but I'm hearing all of these things. I listened to Tay Jones yesterday. If this man ain't spar in camp for 6 weeks, and he hasn't fought a southpaw in like 7 years, these are things where the brother Derek James has to step in and say, okay, we got to get some sparring for this kid. We got to get some southpaws in here. You haven't fought one in 7 years. Okay. If you was injured, push the fight back. I don't care. I don't want to hear, okay, I'm injured, but I can do this. You don't have to play tough guy, because we didn't get the best quality Errol Spence that we saw. And now we're left with this. All right. Errol got hammered, man. If he was hurt, he should have pulled out the fight. That 15-month layoff, that didn't help, man. That didn't help. But guess what? He signed on the dotted line. He got in there, and these are the results. So we're dealing with the reality. So we're gonna handle it like he was in there 100%. Because guess what? Errol's not making excuses, y'all. Although this is shit that we know, Errol's not using it as an excuse. So although we know it, Errol's not making excuses. Let's not do it. Fuck it.
Well, what do you think about the fact I've heard people say that Errol kind of made an excuse when he says, "Look, I'm not making any excuses. I agreed to go down to that weight," and he threw it out. I agreed to go down that weight, so it is what it is. So by even saying that, isn't that inherently kind of making an excuse?
That's what he said. I agreed to go
Absolutely.
down. How could he go down to the weight when he's a unified champion? He's already there.
But
You know what I mean?
but my point is the way he said it was like it seemed like he was trying to slip it in there. Let people know
Absolutely,
it's-
that's an underlying way of
Seemed like
making an excuse.
Now, at the end of the fight in the arena, when he was asked, he said, "Would you prefer to have it at 154?" He did say, "Yeah, I prefer to have it at 154."
Yeah.
That's up to Bud, man. Bud could do whatever he wants to do right now. He's that guy.
I guess to me, like making no excuses is just saying the better man won. That's it.
Period. And salute to Jason Bourne, heavy in that super chat. Much love and appreciation. He said, talk that sass. Facts, they hate black. No doubt, man. And listen, let me say this to y'all. Don Schauder back in that super chat. He said, should EJ leave Derrick James in you guys' opinion? Not now.
No, let me answer that.
Go ahead.
That's
No, that should be a marriage to the end as far as what they're doing. But James would do himself a huge service to get some help, to get assistance,
Yeah.
because no one man is an island, okay? In this business, when you have more people around you who can teach, you might even have someone who might have specific teaching abilities and skill sets. Allow that to be incorporated. That's how you can have a more fulfilling and well-rounded sense of accomplishment with who you're working with.
Yeah.
That's wisdom.
Yeah.
To think that you're just the man and you're spreading yourself thin. That's one of the reasons that Emmanuel began to lose certain guys. He got to a point where he was spreading himself a little thin, and certain guys got away from him, and certain guys didn't flourish as well as they might because of his lack of availability.
Listen, y'all. When I talked to you and salute to Xavier, he said stormy thoughts on Charles Canelo. We gonna talk about that. I'm trying to keep the focus on what we're talking about here, Xavier. Salute to you, good brother. When we get closer to that, we're gonna cook on that. If you look pinned at the top of the page, I got Stormy B-Man's channel there, and I got Marco's channel there. Marco's actually been in the ring. Marco, really quick, let the audience know your background in boxing, please, if they don't know.
Oh, okay. Turned amateur at 13, went up to live at Kevin Rooney's house in Catskill, New York at 15, trained with all kinds of future champions, current champions then. Been boxing ever since, turned professional at the age of 21, and been in and out of all the New York City gyms since I was a child. I've been around everybody you could think of.
So it's safe to say you know boxing. It's safe to say you know boxing. And Stormy, similar thing. Just give a brief, just to let them know, for those of you that don't know, that this man is just not shooting from the hip. He knows what he's talking about. Just briefly let everyone know.
Out of the shy here, I've worked with guys for over 15 years through our park districts and through some men who had originally founded boxing programs through the YMCA. and Windy City Boxing Gym. I'm very familiar with men who have come up through Chicago ranks and women. I have chosen not to make that a full-time thing for me because I know how debilitating it can be, keeping you from your loved ones and things of that nature. And then the people who are participants in the sport, a lot of them don't have a lot of ethics and values that you would need. And it's kind of hard to keep people contained and focused with certain other influences from the environment and things of that nature. So as I've said many times, I was invited to go out to Vegas and train and work with people. I decided not to do that. But my mentor is still here in Chicago, working with young people and the amateurs and everything. And I keep in contact with him. And those are the kind of things that keep me grounded. But I've known this sport. My dad boxed, okay? And my dad was one of those who fought under one of the trainers that was originally with the YMCA here, D.D. Lee, who is long since passed on, but was a staple of boxing here in the shot. And some of the older fighters, like from the Tommy Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard era, and those guys knew D.D. Lee, and D.D. Lee trained my dad. So I don't have anything to, I don't boast and brag. I don't even mention it because I know what I know, and I'm solid within that myself. But anytime someone want to have a conversation, Stormy B-Man can do that.
I have both of their links to their channel pinned to the top. Do yourselves a service and go subscribe to both of my brothers here. And salute to Beyond the Ring with Nonito and Rachel, man. Salute to y'all. Had a wonderful time. He says, big all love and support to Drew Titan. The fact you came to show me love on a hard night will never be forgotten. Let me tell y'all, first of all, I had Nonito winning that goddamn fight 8-4. That's my opinion. That's no shade to Santiago. I had him winning that fight 8-4. But the business is what it is. And I got to tell you, man, I met the whole family up there, and they accepted us with open arms. We was upstairs. Rachel, Rachel's a bunch of fun, man. The whole family's so friendly, man. And I want to say thank you guys for accepting us. And he's upstairs, eating pizza, and my gosh, there was some rock stars up there too. You know what I mean? But man, hard night, man. And for those of you that's never competed, athletes, they go through it, man. They go through it, man. It's tough, and to bounce back after a loss with a clear head, that can also be pretty rough. I'm sure you guys heard of sports therapists and things of that nature, man. But Nonito's secure in who he is. He's secure in his history. The man's a Hall of Famer. You know what I meant to tell y'all guys? Why? I forgot which son it was, but why did your son run up to me and said, I'm going to say something to you, but I don't want you to get mad? And I'm looking at him like, what? What's he about to say? He said, you look like an evil cowboy. He said I look like an evil cowboy. I was like, damn it.
Woody Strode.
He said it and then ran off. Man, it was the cutest thing, man. It was the cutest thing. They go Mr. Vargas right there. And if y'all can see on the left hand, who's that in the back? Can you see that? You see that, Stormy? Who's that in the back?
in the back.
Sugar
Hill.
Sugar Hill.
Yeah, Sugar Hill.
Hashtag in concert.
You didn't talk to him?
Fuck out of here. Talk to him. Fuck that. I ain't had no words for him. He walked in. Rachel said, "Be nice." I said, "Why?" I looked around. I said, "Oh, this motherfucker." I ain't say shit. I looked.
I can tell you one thing: he
like,
didn't have them damn gloves with his ass.
Yeah, bro. And you see, Rachel. That's why I ain't drink. Because if I started drinking, I'd have started talking. And he was sitting there, and I'm like, man, woo. Yeah. Never drink with Rachel, y'all. I don't know where she puts it, but man, this woman, she doesn't own a liver. She gave me and BFTV some drink, and I swear that shit could start a goddamn engine.
Well, you know, after that story that Nonito shared with us, what she went through with birth and everything, listen, man, don't challenge her.
Yeah,
she's Mr. Street Fighter 5th level fist. Okay, that's what she is.
Man, oh man, salute to TD Harden. He said, "Ninja, you look like Houdini." Word up, man. The fake scum out at night. Otis, my email's at the bottom. 1000slaps@gmail.com. Just send it there. Trick Melty in the building, man. Salute, brother. Yeah. We'll talk about that, behind the scenes. Oh man, but overall the weekend was splendid, man. An eye opener. It's always great to Listen, again, it was a peaceful event. There was no nonsense. Oh, this one I want to. There was nonsense, and I almost forgot. As soon as I said nonsense, it jumped in my head. Somebody go get Keith Thurman. Somebody go get your boy. Oh man, read that. I damn sure did. Yeah. Underrated darkness, salute. Yeah, I damn sure did.
You got a chance to do that? Good.
Yeah.
Good.
That motherfucker. Whatever, man. Whatever. That son of a bitch. But we leaving the T-Mobile. People are celebrating. People are confused like myself. And I just hear this loud mouth. And I said, that sound like Keith. And I look, Keith Thurman is going off in public. He looked like a street performer. And I'm looking at him and I have my phone. Now, what I started to do was walk over there, click record, and be like, yo, give it to me, your thoughts. But he was so animated, I didn't want to be around him. You get what I'm saying? He was very animated, very loud, and it would have made for good footage, but his energy was off, and I'm like, Lord, if he says something crazy to me personally, I'm still significantly bigger than him. And he was out of shape. That's another thing. He had on like a 1X shirt. And to me, he looked skinny fat. He had like the little pot belly going on there. He looked like, sort of angry wino on the block. You know what I'm saying? He looked like that.
Who are you talking about?
Keith Thurman.
Oh, you saw him?
Yeah, he was going off.
I heard.
Yeah, but then I heard that the part inside the building, they said he got into it with a Boots team. I don't even know if that was Boots fans or Boots team.
Yeah, I saw the video.
Yeah, it was kind of ugly. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, wow, man, he was just going off. And I said, I put my phone away. I said, I don't want to talk to him like that.
It seems like he maybe wanted the attention being on other welterweights, maybe was bothering him a little bit, so he wanted some attention on himself.
Yeah, but Errol just lost, and you ducked him. Errol could have been undisputed a while ago, but it was Keith holding that shit up. You understand? So we didn't forget that. Oh, it's time for you to fight Keith. Oh, I got an injury. Then Manny comes up. He's ready to fight through the injury. You understand? So Keith, but he apologized on his Instagram. And I wrote him a little note, man, and I said, "Look, bro, I started
lucky I wasn't there." Because I would have incited the crowd to yell at him, in the ring, in the ring,
yep.
in the ring. because he ain't doing a thing. You understand? Just running his mouth. Listen, man. By the time he do fight again, it may not be no more hair up top for him. Huh?
Yeah, true.
You know he
was
tried to
never-
get rid of his ponytail doing something again, but that dude, man, he should just go ahead and be a TV personality or something.
Yeah, he'd be
Boxing
good at that.
has passed him by. It has passed him by, and it's going to be a painful reality if he does decide to get in the ring with one of these young men, because a lot of them are coming up strong. They're coming up strong, and they're going to have to eventually start proving to one another, but he's just going to be a bump in the road. That's all.
Yeah,
He's
I don't
too
even know.
inactive.
Yeah.
You know, he has too much weight to drop. He's scared to go to 154. I can tell you that. He really is.
Man. So let me go around. Let me ask Marco. Marco, what do you think? What do you think? And salute to Mike Flem in that Cash App. Much love and appreciation, man. He said, "My great win, Bud." Yeah, man, bro. Listen, it's a great win for Bud. I ain't taking shit from Bud. You can't. If you take anything from Bud, you just a hater at this point. You can't. You cannot deny Bud at all. And both of these brothers' links are at the top of they're pinned at the top. Y'all make sure you go subscribe. Marco, what does Errol need to do to compete, let alone beat Bud Crawford? What does he need to do?
I mean,
I don't know.
some people just have the other person's number.
Yeah.
Some people, Bud is just a more complete fighter. Bud seems like he's stronger. There might be some truth to Errol being weight drained a little, but I say this again, it wouldn't have made a difference in the outcome of the fight. I don't want to see them fight again. I do not. I'd much rather see Boots get a crack at it. Something that the fans could salivate over.
That's how bad it got. No one wants to see it again. That's how bad it got.
Well, I mean, it was a completely one-sided fight. So why would you, unless you want to see Errol win, which I guess you guys were touching on, the favoritism and the bias or whatever, unless you want to see Errol win and why would you want to see that again? Like, what about that would make you want to see that again, unless you really want your guy to possibly, win?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. Stormy, I'm gonna give it to you. But let alone win, I want to know, what do you think Errol needs to do to compete?
Change his manner of thinking to get his actions to align with the thought process. There has to be a union there. It can't be you think one way but fight another. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like a guy that's gonna and I'm not accusing him of doing this, but I'm getting ready to give an example of what I mean. That's like a guy that's telling you how, telling a woman, "Oh baby, I'm gonna do this to you," and you wait and this and that, and then later she's saying, "Is that it?"
That is.
You know what I'm saying? You didn't perform. He has to find a way to marry the thought process with the actual physicality. Now, there may be some things that maybe he could do at one time that he may no longer be as sharp at doing or whatever, but that's where improvisation comes in. You have to understand that you may be capable of being a mainstay by adapting to circumstances. You cannot walk everybody down. Ask Mike Tyson. You can't. You're not going to be able to do that. That versatility that so many have boasted about and everything that we haven't seen, we need to see it. If that does not exist, then a modification of how he fights has to be in order. And the modification doesn't necessarily mean taking anything away. It may mean moving things around a little bit. And as I said earlier, If Derek James couldn't tell him to move around, then Derek James does need help in his gym. Because if your man is getting pummeled, standing in front of somebody, let's reverse and go back a film or so. Didn't he pummel the hell out of Ugis for standing in front of him?
Sure did.
So what's good for the goose ain't good for the gander? You see what I mean? I point these things out because it's simple. There are elements, but there are rules within the elements. That's the law of the universe. And if people can't figure that out, they need to get the hell out. But take to task. Earl can be as good as he can be, but Derek James got to be better than advertised. And stop being so overly critical of an external camp when you've got problems within your own.
Yeah, he got to get this under control, man. Because Frank Martin he didn't have a cakewalk his last fight. He won it. Errol,
and if you go back a couple of fights, Charlo had trouble against Castano that first time around, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did.
And who was his trainer?
Derek.
I just think it's funny how before this fight, Derek James is the greatest trainer that God's ever created, and now so many people are,
But you see, but don't you see how interesting that is?
Yeah.
You see how interesting, because it happened to Reynoso too. 1 minute he was on top of the world with all those people in his camp, and then they started leaving and popping dirty and all kinds of weird stuff. Now, not to say it's going to happen here, but he has a roster of known fighters, and now it's time for them to perform. Yeah. And the biggest rock star in the camp lost. He blew it, man. And if Derek James, look, I don't know what was going on in the camp, but Derek James should be in a position that his fighters should respect him enough for him to say, yo, look, you ain't ready. We ain't sparring 6 weeks. I don't know why. Only they know. And whatever's going on, pull out this fight, man. If you go ahead with this fight, I'm not doing this with you. This man is a killer. This man will fuck you up, man. This man will fuck you up. And we talk about posture. Derek kind of lost it. He kind of let Bomac chew his ass out on stage. Y'all saw that? Bomac chewed his ass out. Bomac got the better of him, in my opinion. And
I think Derek isn't comfortable or into those kind of verbal exchanges. So I think that's where you're kind of more seeing.
I can tell because he was speaking very emotionally.
Yeah, exactly.
He wasn't calm like at the presser. No one was turned up at the presser, but I can tell when Bomac started shouting at him, he wasn't used to that, and he responded. If Bomac was in front of him face to face, I think Derek would have decked him. I mean, that's what I got from him. Derek had to go out on social media and actually apologize for that.
There's a lot of pressure on Derek. The fact that like what he said to you, he's told me, he's like, I can't do interviews right now, except for what Showtime is mandating me to do. There's a lot of pressure on him, a lot. And
there is.
Well, see, he invited that. No. It comes with the territory.
It does.
Why and I'm saying this being from a coaching and mentor aspect myself. I said this early in this promotion. I said, why tear down the other guy? If you tear down the other guy and you defeat the guy that you tore down, why am I giving you credit for beating down someone that you've been putting down?
That's a good point.
But if you build him up and you place him in the stratosphere and you're able to take that lightning away from him,
yep,
I have to give you the credit for what you've done.
Well, because what you're promoting is actions. A lot of people don't live off actions. They live off this.
Well, see, and that's, again, the analogy of that and the grocery bag that's full of canned goods and the garbage bag that's full of empty cans. When you drop them on the ground, which one makes the most noise?
The empty.
Huh?
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah.
Empty.
Exactly.
Hmm?
So the adage, empty cans rattle the loudest.
Yeah.
You ever
Yeah, I
heard
got
that?
you. Yeah,
I haven't, but I like
yeah.
it.
No. I get it. I get it though.
Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. See, remember, you cannot match wits with the witless. Okay? So Derek needs to be about his business. I've said this. Stop talk. That's not he wasn't even a great fighter. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm speaking honestly. But if you want to be a great mentor, that's what you do. Show the world, but not just the world. Show those who you're working with so that they'll have a foundation to stand upon. And then that will be your message to the world.
Yeah. Bud's gonna Errol, yeah, you're right. He might have to add to that camp. Get in shape, add to the camp, heal up, add to the camp. And if Errol wants that rematch, I'm hearing in December, I think he needs more time. He need to get that rest in, formulate a game plan, see who you're gonna look at some tape, get back to basics. Who can you get in the camp that can help you, and then see what you can do. But as it stands right now, nobody's picking Errol to beat Bud, and rightfully so because of the outcome. Now there are things that we know in between that we could, look, it's an in-depth conversation. It might be over a lot of casuals' heads, but if you know, you know. Y'all know what I'm talking about, man. Salute the main biker. He said Charlo's new Drew was in Vegas, new monkey clips coming. Bro, we were standing outside and Maul beelined it out the door with like a line of dudes, and we looked and we was like, what the fuck's wrong with him? And we ain't know. So then when we got back to the MGM, Blue hit us up on a text, was like, yo, Caleb Plant just smacked the shit out of Jamal Charlo. I was like, what? I was like, we just saw him. He said, yo, it just happened. Like, we just missed it. It was crazy. But he was visibly pissed off. But there's a lot going on. I think Derek James at this point needs to slow down the tempo. Look at some tape. And I know Errol, the competitive person in him, he wants to go run that back, but you want to be able to run it back and bring him something different. And if you're not healthy, because that's 6 weeks not sparring in camp, that bothers me. I don't know what that's about, but I'm assuming that there was something wrong. I don't want to put nothing out there that I can't confirm, but when you don't spar in a camp, that means something's not right. And listening to what Tay had to say last night, that gave me more reasonable cause to believe that there was something not right. And if it was an injury, he should have pulled out the fight and pushed it back. I wouldn't have had no problem. Just postpone the trip. It's all right. But they got some things to do. And if they really want it in December, they got some things to do. They got some work to do. But right now, nobody thinks that he can beat him. Now, let me be very, 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 very clear. Yeah, no doubt, Gerard. No doubt. Hit me on my email. Be very clear. Yeah, Miami Snoopy, he didn't spar for 6 weeks. I just found that out like when Tay said it, when Tay told me. I didn't know that. Had I known that, Now, in closing, I'm gonna say this. Errol he's gonna show us what he's made of in this rematch. But I need to see some adjustments. I need to see him healthy. And it's a possibility he could come in at his best and Bud will still whoop his ass. But salute to both of them because they got it done. And, now that I'm done congratulating both men because they got it done, we're dealing with the business of the outcome of a possible second fight. Everyone needs to make some changes. Derek James needs to make some changes. And if he has to decide whether he spread himself too thin. I know there was an article about a month ago saying he's not accepting any more people in this camp because everybody gets hot. Everybody gets hot and wants to run to the guy that's hot, and that's a lot of times that's not a good thing. Sidebar. Let me take it to a kung fu film. Stormy. What's the movie where Jet Li played Hu Yun-ja? What movie was that? Fearless. Hu Yun-ja was hot, and everybody wanted to run up under him. Remember that? And his friend kept telling him, not everybody that you putting up in your group here has your best interest. And he had some situations, and it was life-changing for him, and he had to get back to who he was as a person. You understand? So if Errol is not living a fighter's lifestyle, you see all that shit that Floyd Mayweather did, that was for y'all to see and get pissed off at. But Floyd Mayweather lived the fighter's life. He didn't drink, he didn't smoke. And if he did party, it was at a strip club that was around the corner from his house. But from what I understand, that he would leave the club and put on run, and this is what Tyrese Beckford said. No, I said Beckford. I'm thinking of the goddamn model, but Tyrese, the singer. He said they left the club like at an ungodly hour, drove down the block, stopped the car, went in the trunk, put on some run shoes, and he jogged 2 miles to the house. Slept for a little while, got up, went back to the gym, started working out with no AC. And then he noticed, he said when they was in the club, Floyd took some sips of like club soda with lemon in it. Listen, Floyd lived a fighter's lifestyle. He took care of his body. And what we've been hearing about Errol is quite the opposite, is it not? And what I don't want is when Errol decides to shut the door on his career, us having a conversation saying how good could Errol have been if he never took a sip in his life. You understand? Because now that car accident shit has resurrected again. You have a neurosurgeon on YouTube somewhere. And salute to the brothers who did that interview. I heard about I seen bits and parts of it.
But why allow that to affect you to that degree? You can't save everybody. People who don't want to be saved don't want to be saved, bro.
You're right.
Listen, that's why I talk about this sport, but I no longer have the interest of this is my guy, that's my guy, or whatever. I say those guys, because I know different. Remember, I could have been there where Derek James is, coaching folks and all of that. I'm like, man, I don't want that foolishness as a part of my life. Getting a call at 3 a.m. saying, oh, I got to go pick up Brona from the police station.
Can you imagine you got to babysit Tank? You know how silly that is, y'all?
I'm not doing that.
I didn't do a video on it, but do you know how silly it was for the judge to say, okay, Tank, you're under house arrest, but you have to be under the watch of your trainer? You know how juvenile and stupid that is? He's a grown man with children. And this judge don't trust you to be in the house by yourself? You know how stupid that shit is? So when Stormy says he ain't got the patience for that, this is a different level of athletes today. This is shit you don't want to deal with.
I've done live streams just over the past couple of weeks where I sit in here and I'm talking to the audience. And I say, hey, you guys tell me what your thoughts are about XYZ. And you know what? Crickets. Nobody writes a response to the question. Nobody types nothing. It actually, the chat freezes. And then I might pick up a subject and I start talking. And then somebody say, well, Stormy, what do you think about, Canelo and so-and-so? It's like, you're going to ask me that, but you ain't have any connection to connect with what I was talking about. Man, if you don't get the hell out of here, it's like, this is what I'm saying. And this is not real serious. You can't even focus up for 2 seconds. You see? That's why I call them fools. Because people don't listen, man. There's more policing that needs to go on in the community than people feel entitled to impose or whatever. But around these parts, around me, you're either gonna come and bring your thinking caps, or you're gonna get out of here, because I don't pass out dunce hats. Huh? I don't.
Man. And that's why I remember they asked Marvin Hagler, you ever considered training anybody? And he said, no, I don't have the patience, because he's comparing fighters based off of his thought process and how he approached the sport. And he knew that certain athletes are incapable of thinking like them. You can't have people approach anything like how you approach it. Like, oh, I can go on and on about that, but I'm not, man. But yeah, man. But I get it, man. But that's my thoughts. The first thing, in my opinion, that Errol needs to do is get Blu-ray back so he can get his strength and conditioning up to par. And then I'll go through the second and third and fourth thing. But I'm an advocate for Blu-ray because it works. And me and him was talking after that, and let me tell y'all something. He told me personally to watch Errol go out like that. He teared up because he knew that wasn't him, which means that there was something else or something missing. I'm not gonna say something else going on, but something missing. And he considers Errol a friend, and he knows Errol.
I will say this: he might say he knows that wasn't him. Oh, that was him. That may not have been what he wanted to see of him.
That's what he means. Yeah. That's what he means.
But see, that's what I mean.
He's capable of doing better.
Sure. See, this is the thing. If he wasn't right, he didn't have to fight.
Period. Yep.
He fought.
And
that was the result we got.
That's what happened.
Stop running around behind the guy with a wheelchair, a cane, crutches, a cast, if necessary, because he's already taken the fucking fall. Now it is up to him to come back from that. You cannot will or want it more than he wanted for himself. You can't. And that's an important thing to understand. We got brothers out here in the community. We tell them, hey man, be cool. Don't let them draw you in or whatever. Right. And what happens? They get drawn in. Huh? Get drawn in. And it's just like, oh, yeah. Didn't we tell you? Huh? Stop. But you see, this is what I'm talking about. It's just an example of what I'm saying here. I have 1,000,001 examples to show you the point, but you get the freaking point. It's just that people want to hold fast to what they want to hold fast to. Oh man, I don't know, that little ASS, that's pretty good. I can't help myself. Well, you know what? Going to the clinic and getting the shots and stuff, you ain't tired of that? Huh? You ain't tired of, you didn't strap it up and you got baby number whatever on the way now and all of this. It's like, come on. How many times? Really? At some point, people gotta fall on their sword, bro. Huh? Yeah. And some of them need to fall on it backwards where it stick them in the rear. Because that's when it really teaches you life lessons, when it hits you in the backside.
That's right.
See, I say these things because, and I see people out there chuckling and laughing, but it is no joke.
This is real.
Most of those that chuckle and laugh be the ones, because they be like, he talking about me. Yeah.
Yeah, man. But listen, I'm gonna get out of here. Again, reiterate, man. Stormy, let them know you're pinned to the top, but let them know where they can find you, good brother.
Stormy B Man is the channel, all caps, but no cap.
Real boxing conversations over there, man. For real, man. Man, salute to everybody in the Venmo, the Zelle, the Cash App, the Super Chat. I got to get better at reading y'all donations. I'm so sorry. Let me see. Yeah, I just got one from family, man. I appreciate you, good brother. This is boxing, y'all.
Before you go, Drew, listen. That last comment there by the gentleman before Abel Mahari, Daryl Royal says, it's easy to kick someone when he or she are down. Ain't nobody kicking nobody when they're down, bro. And if you happen to take anything that I said as kicking someone when they're down, I hate to see you when you're going through real trial. Because the world ain't here to put its arm around you and sing kumbaya, huh?
Yeah.
It's not. But sometimes when you got someone like this OG right here to tell you what you need to hear, it can assist. If you happen to be one of those that just let it go in one ear and out the other, then you maybe will learn from someone else's example. But you will never be able to say that Stormy didn't put it out there. Okay? I've recognized what my purpose is, and I'm living it. But hey.
In closing, let me say this. This ain't no hate on Errol. It's still man down over here. But we're keeping it honest. And when you got respect for someone or you got love for someone, whatever it is you call it, you know, I have a good enough relationship with someone to tell them the truth. You understand? Because I could easily, now watch this. What if I came in there and say, yo, man, you know, Errol's just going to get right next time. He's going to get his weight up. We're going to go to 154 and he's going to beat the shit out of Bud. What did I just say? Did I say anything of anything? It's encouraging. It might sound good. But how can I explain what I just said after what we just saw on Saturday? Stop it. This, you know, we're not kicking the man when he's down. This is a low career-wise for him, not life-wise, because it's hard for me to feel sorry for people that make $30 million in a night, if they made that much. But I know they made more that night than what I'm gonna see probably in my lifetime, and I'm cool with that. But what I'm saying is, we'd be doing him a disservice by just saying, yeah, he'll get him next time. It sounds fun. But even a lot of y'all mamas tell you that you're the most handsome or most beautiful person in the world. And y'all know she lying by now. So
when she should be telling you to get your butt in the shower and this next time use the soap that I bought and everything, you know.
Wash your ass.
Exactly.
Okay? And that's my brother Otis the Great. We was in the building, man. Salute to you, good brother. Yeah, man, we showed up, man. LDBC was in there strong, man, for real, man. You know what I mean? The evil cowboy. You know what I'm saying? Salute to y'all. And I'll be back tomorrow talking this boxing. I came on late today because, you know, I'm still, you know, dealing with family and stuff. But it's all good, man. And salute to Errol and salute to Bud. Whatever's going on in Team Truth, get to the bottom of it if you're going to run it back, man, because the next time Bud might just put you out your misery kind of early. I still have faith. But I want you to be safe. I still have faith, but I want you to be safe. That's a bar. And catch y'all tomorrow, man. Bronx on deck.
Move! Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.